Hello, so before I take the mic, I would like to invite our two drum majors up that will not be returning, Richard Dahl and Joe Rodriguez. Give them one hand. They have a few short words before I'll finish it up.
Hi, Sosa. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to be your drum major this year. I love you all, and I really appreciate it. And have a great year next year, and I'll see you in the trumpet section. I love you guys.
I was going to write a speech, of course, right? So when I was a freshman, on my first day of band camp, I told Kay Roberhauser, someone who I now consider one of my closest friends, that I was going to be drum major in the Spirit of San Antonio before my time at UTSA was over. Thanks to you all, my dream was accomplished this year. Words cannot describe the honor that getting to serve in this position has been for me. The experience and friends I've made in this past year, in these past few years will stick with me for the rest of my life. I'll try to keep this short, but there's some groups of people I need to address. To the Bad Birds, each and every one of you, thank you for being the meanest group of band members in America. Y'all have given me a new sense of purpose and direction in these past few months, and I can't wait to see where we go. I love you all. To my fellow drum majors, thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for telling me when I was being overdramatic, and thanks for telling me when I was overthinking things, and never letting me feel bad for myself. I know all four of us couldn't have made it through this year without each other, and I think we did a pretty good job. To next year's drum majors, I'll be here if you need anything. To Professor Steiner and E, thank you for the opportunity to lead this amazing group of students. Without your guiding hands, the four of us would not have made it and accomplished anything we did this season. To 9.0, thank you for the experience of a lifetime. I will never forget the feeling of playing our fight song at Kyle Field, or the hours we put on our field. I'll cherish these memories forever, and thanks for letting me be me. Lastly, to the trumpet section, and anyone else who was wondering, to the old people that I know and love, and to the people I can't wait to get to know, I got one thing to tell you. 10.0, so here I come. Show goes on, baby. I love you all. Thanks for the experience of a lifetime. Go Runners.
Give it up for Joe and Richard. And luckily, I get to finish out this awesome evening. E mentioned it a little bit, but it always surprises me that 10 years ago, none of this existed. There wasn't the Spirit of San Antonio, there wasn't a football team, there wasn't a practice field, there was none of that. And a group of 200-something people came together and made that happen. And here we are almost 10 years later, and now we have 300-something people, and no more than 4.5 months ago, we all met for the first time in the recital hall. And here we are 4 months later. We've thrown down on Kyle Field. We've torn apart the Alamo Dome several times with some great shows. We've shown ourselves as the Spirit of San Antonio. With a season as interesting as we had, it allowed us a spotlight. It allowed us a time to shine, and we showed our true colors, and I believe that. And the memories from that will never leave us, they'll never go away, but in a little less than 2 hours, 9.0 will never be a thing again. We'll never see each other again. And that to me is scary and sad, but also one of the most beautiful things I think there is. The fact that 330 people who have no business knowing each other, have no business playing instruments and marching around in forms on a field, that all of us come together and bring people joy, and we spread UTSA spirit in the community, and we're well known far beyond this campus as one of the premier marching ensembles in the country. And within campus, we are one of the most beloved groups at this university, and I think I speak for everyone here that we've developed a love and a passion for UTSA that we wouldn't have without SOSA. And it's because of each and every one of you that those things are possible. Whether you're a drum major, a staff member, a first-year member, a fifth-year member, a director, whoever you are in this organization, without each and every one of you, this doesn't happen. Because without Joe, I'm not who I am. And without your best friend in your section, you're not really who you are because you made new friends because of them. And every single little connection in this ensemble matters. So no matter how small you think you are in the ensemble, just know that you play a huge role to tons of people around you. In my life, there are just a few people in SOSA that I would like to highlight and thank really quick. Starting off, of course, with Ron Ellis. When I was a senior in high school, I somehow ended up at Topgolf with this guy named Aaron Collins. And in walks this guy that's apparently a band director at UTSA. And I'm like, what's going on? I had just met them, I just met E. And then in an hour of golfing with someone that apparently is the band director, I left there, I called my mom in the car and I said, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to be with that guy, I want to be under his leadership, I want to learn from him, I want to go to his school, and 5 years later, I don't think any step along the way was a bad decision. All of it was positive, I learned a lot from him, and I think we can all agree that he is the best leader for the Spirit of San Antonio, and without him, none of this is possible. So please, can we give one round of applause for him? And then his fantastic sidekick, Professor Michael Steiner, who I had the privilege of calling by his first name, which we won't say aloud, for his first couple years. We started here together. He was a grad student, I was an undergrad, and now he's in an elevated role as the assistant professor. And he's always been a great friend and mentor, and now as his role as an athletic director, I hope he stays at UTSA forever and carries on what has started here. But if not, I know wherever he goes that program will be blessed and lucky to have him. So one time for Michael Stein. Yeah! And then of course, all the rest of the professional staff, Ben, Randy, everyone, Chrissy. Our show doesn't happen without your work. E can do all the work, Steiner does all the work, I can move my hands all I want to, but without the auxiliaries on the field, it's just not the same. If SOSA didn't have the auxiliary group, Randy, I don't think I would enjoy it half as much. And I think that's one of the most special things when I talk to people about UTSA and the band here. It's the auxiliaries that stands out all of the time. And so thank you for that. And Ben, thank you for the percussion, especially with indoor, putting us on the map with that. Y'all have greatly elevated UTSA. And next, yeah, a round of applause. Now, very quickly, everyone just think back to your freshman orientation. Whatever year you are, think back to your freshman orientation. Raise your hand if a student staff member of SOSA is the reason that you're here today. Raise your hand if student staff had an influence on you in joining this ensemble. That's about half of the room, okay? I know I'm here because of student staff, so many of y'all are too, and the work that they do often can go unnoticed a little bit. All the behind the scenes stuff, all we see is kind of the surface level, but the student staff is what E has set up as what drives this organization, and without them, my job would be a lot harder, E's job would be a lot harder, and each and every one of y'all student staff, thank you for the work that you've done. I know you all had various roles and activities, so student staff, thank you for your hard work. You make the job of standing at the front so much easier because I know I can trust you. So Spirit of San Antonio, please give it up for your student staff. Yeah. And at the front of the room for the student staff is the drum majors, and I was blessed enough to be chosen to stand in the middle this year. But the people on either side of me, Joe, Richard, and Iman, were instrumental in the success of SOSA this year, and because of their attentiveness and hard work and their willingness to really do whatever I asked them to, I was able to stand at the front and look like I knew what I was doing. Because I would always say, hey Joe, Richard, do this, and then they would just go do it, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. And that made SOSA look better in the public, that made That made me feel a lot better about what we are. And Iman, keep me around next year. I know that you will carry that on to next year, and you will have a great impact. Joe, Richard, it's been a pleasure serving with you. Joe specifically, I never, ever thought that I would be even friends with you, honestly. and then slowly we kind of started hanging out, and then before you got the drum major spot, I was like, hey, it's kind of cool. And then you started trying out, and I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And then as soon as you got it, I think it was a day or two later, Joe and I had like a 6-hour conversation about Sosa, and I just noticed his passion, his determination for this ensemble. And Joe, I think I can say that you're one of the most influential people in my time here at UTSA. I somehow get a lot of credit for, like from athletics, Lisa Campos and Amy and all that, but without you, I don't think I'm that. So thank you very much for inspiring me as a Roadrunner and keeping UTSA always a thought in my mind about how I can improve campus and what I can do to serve. So thank you very much, Joe. Can we please just clap for Joe? Really quick. Okay, I'm almost done. I got a few short ones. Matthew Settles, the most enjoyable person to look at on the field. I got to stand right in front of him on the 50-yard line. I'm not sure how many of you pay attention, but whenever I move my hand, Matt moves his, and it's just the synchrony that we have together. Is that a word? Oh. Matt and I are really in sync, and that's the reason that Sosa always sounded really good this year, because he was always willing to take criticism, and he always ran up to the podium and asked what he could do better and if he messed up, and the answer was always no, it was always my fault. But Matt Settles, thank you very much for your work, and I look forward to seeing what you do professionally in the future. And then the Bad Birds, thank you very much just for who you are. But we won't talk about that. But lastly, to the person that has probably influenced my life the most and indirectly influenced the Spirit of San Antonio the most, I think Eleanor Roosevelt said something very sarcastic like, behind every great man is a woman that's rolling her eyes. I think that's the quote. And that, I sympathize with that a little bit. But there was just so many times this year that I had a rough day or a tough practice, or I had an idea that was absolutely stupid. And Shelby would always calm me down and lift me up when I need to. And she was, for the past 2 years? For the past 2 years. I'm joking. That's funny. That's funny. For the past 2 years, she's just been right by my side the whole way, and I honestly couldn't be where I am in Sosa today without her. And so thank you to the directors for choosing us to be the first Sosa Hall of Fame members. Like, what is that? I look forward to seeing where that goes, and I'm honored to be a part of that. Shelby, thank you so much for all the support and all you've done. Sosa, please give it up for Shelby. She deserves all of it. And then just an open-ended thank you to each and every member of the Spirit of San Antonio. Like I said in the beginning, without all of you, this doesn't happen. And without showing up and learning your music and learning your drill, none of this happens. And I am blessed enough to stand at the front and get to watch it all the time, and the fans get to enjoy your hard work. I look forward to next year coming back and seeing Sosa from the outside perspective. And to the 4 new drum majors, I have so much confidence in you. Your interviews and Iman, your work this year was awesome. I know that you will share your experience with the new ones. Joseph, your interview was fantastic. I'm very proud of you. I believe you weren't a drum major in high school, correct? So Joseph, you'll be a great first-year drum major, and I look forward to the learning that you do. Evan, you are an inspiration to us all. I believe the way you carry yourself and the way you are open and humble and vulnerable with everyone at all times is something that I can learn from a little bit, and I think we all can. And lastly, Mary Shaw, you are, as of now, the future of this program. Oh, there you are. When thinking about 10.OSA, during the auditions, your face kept popping into my head, and I think the ensemble agrees that as soon as you answered one question in the student interview, I lost it. And when you came to the back, for those of you who don't know, I was standing in the back reading all the drum major candidates, and Mary Shaw had me in tears. She is a true leader. It's natural for her, I think. Sosa, I'm very honored to have served as the drum major for this year, and I know that in the future, the tradition that we've set of being an elite ensemble will be upheld at the highest level, and Mary, you'll do a great job with that. I hope the best for you and all the drum majors. For all of you that are returning in 10.OSA, just have a great time, have a blast, live it up. The 10th year is a thing to celebrate. For those of you that are leaving after, not leaving, for those of you that have served your last term with the Spirit of San Antonio, thank you all for your work. Thank you for showing up every day and giving it your all and making it an unforgettable experience. At this time, to properly conclude 9.OSA, if you could all stand to your feet for our final dismissal, one of the best things we do. Mary, take notes.
Runner, 10, high!